Nice. How's it going, everybody? We are in a new week of live streaming here on Project Fresh. Quite honestly, I don't know how many weeks we've been doing this now. I actually have not stopped to look and see how many weeks we have been going here on Project Fresh. We have recently and consistently, with great gratitude and Thanksgiving, been able to maintain a pretty excellent consistency, which I'm grateful for. To be honest with you, I was very nervous to get this started, um, wondering if I'd be able to maintain it. And the fact that we're able to keep this going is excellent, and quite excited about it. So tonight we're going to be starting a 5-part series on how to elevate your lifestyle in 5 steps in 2021. So that's what we're working on. And if you want to see the finer details of this, let's see, can I give this, I don't know, looks like I'll have to fresh. Hold on just a second. I want to get this up so you guys can see this. Just gonna pull it up really quickly here on. You guys can see this in the thumbnail on YouTube. I just want to show my Instagram crew really quick. Set goals and game plan for tonight. And as I mentioned, how to elevate your lifestyle in 5 steps for 2021 or in 2021. So this is a prep series for you guys. And so I'm going to be uh, covering this in detail in a guys where I'm going to collaboratively put these 5 steps together and have that is posted content. That will be a video that will be made, not live stream. Nice content. Make sure that it's all nice and pretty and engaging for you guys, and we'll give it a go. And from there, we'll keep it at that. But let's cover. Excuse me. Let's cover our topic for tonight: goal planning and setting goals rather, and game planning. So again, if you guys want to go over to our YouTube channel on Instagram, it is youtube.com/BIGRES20. That was my old tag. Also in the, well, that is way too big. Also in the live stream, or in our YouTube live stream, I'm posting our meetup. So if you're local, if you're here in the Bay Area, you could also join even if you're not in the Bay Area. I'm posting different webinars and things, pretty much mostly webinars and teachings that I'll be doing on my meetup page. I don't know if I'll get one in this year. I might try to get one in this Friday, depending on how my schedule goes. There's a few other things I'm looking to do to take care of current clients. I've got new clients signing up, so we'll see if I can fit it in. Actually, kind of looking to wind down the year and take some of my own advice and relax, get a break in. I haven't necessarily taken active time off since March, and so I've been feeling it for some time, needing the active rest. So we'll see. We'll see what I put together here between now and by Wednesday, because I want to give enough time for people to have the opportunity to get in on that live stream, or on that webinar rather. So stay tuned. If you want to join us for some training, it's live. It'll be over Zoom. I'll have slides. I'll have that information available for you guys to do a teaching. Most likely it'll be in the context of nutrition. This time around, there's some great questions that were asked on one of the members from my meetup that I'll speak to, which is appropriate for this time of year, especially considering how much of it we have around us. And I think even just an overarching that I want to get into, that my wife mentioned to me, or we had a conversation about recently in the last maybe 4 days or so, that I would like to speak to and address, something we've talked in extent on and noticed, and also just want to share in detail. But anyway, more to come on that. So as far as today's step number one in our 5-step series on how to elevate your lifestyle in 5 steps in 2021, step one, setting goals, or set goals and game plan. So that's probably pretty generic. That's probably something you may have heard before when it comes to any kind of 3 or 5 or 7 or 10 step plan, whatever it may be, for seeing some kind of increase, or we're calling it elevate your lifestyle, or elevate your lifestyle. It's kind of our tagline, or one of our taglines for our company. And so you may have heard this before: set goals and game plan. But I want to tell you something, that without goals and without a specific game plan, it is like being out in the middle of the ocean without a rudder. For lack of direction, they perish. For lack of direction, you will be tossed by the winds and the waves, and you will not know which way to go, which heading to make. And so you can kind of think of goals and a game plan is like a rudder and sails. Um, Ultimately, the wind is going to blow you wherever it goes, wherever it blows you. That is something we're not in control. So you think of wind being life. Life comes, it produces, and we, cannot control what life brings our way. The wind. We can't control the wind, just like we can't control life. But we can control our rudder and our sails. So if the rudder is broken, or it's not even existing, we need to get a new one, or we need to fix it, right? And then the sails, the same thing. If it's not existing, we need to erect a new sail on our ship, or we need to fix it if it's broken, if it's got tears in it, or it's not securely fastened to the mast or whatever. So just kind of keeping this analogy going. So that's kind of the vision that I want to create for it, and we could call this elevation of our lifestyle. That's our vessel, lifestyle vessel, if you will, our ship. And so, like I said, we may not be able to uh, have the wind go where we want it to, but when the wind is in our favor, we want to take advantage of the wind. And when it's not in our favor, we want to have hopefully a well built out ship, a lifestyle that's going to allow us to survive those tough winds, or maybe even when the storms come, or even a tsunami, a big wave. We want to do the best we can. And sometimes we might get shipwrecked in life. Sometimes we may even have our ship just get crushed into pieces. But as long as we're able to come out of it and get things going, we can make moves, and maybe even we get washed ashore on an island, and we just have to completely and totally rebuild our ship, rebuild our lifestyle, rebuild our life all over again. Sometimes there are those situations that occur in life that it's just so much that it causes you to have to rebuild. I've definitely experienced those situations in my life, and other times it's been more just kind of damage to the ship, and being aware of what happened to the ship. Is it my environment? Is it my surroundings? Is it those I'm relating with? Is it myself that has caused the damage to the ship? And once you are identifying and being aware of that, then you can move on to fixing it and getting it going. So that was more of an analogy than I think I wanted to go for. But when it comes to goals and game planning, what I really wanted to speak to you today was being very specific. We could go with SMART goals. It's a very easy way for me to go. Specific, measurable, obtainable, realistic, and timely. As far as SMART goals, I think it's a very common one to use. And I think it's a nice, simple format for setting goals. But I think what I want to emphasize today is that whatever your goals are, I think it's always healthy to set a goal that scares you. Maybe for the year, maybe for 5 years. One quote that I really like, and I don't know if it was Bill Gates who got it from Tony Robbins, or vice versa, or whoever said this first. Who knows? Maybe they got it from someone they learned from. Maybe even Pastor Tony Evans may have said this, or something in the likeness, or another, maybe John Maxwell or something to the effect. I don't know who, but basically the quote goes, we overestimate what we can do in a year, and we underestimate what we can do in 10 years. So if you stop and think about that for a second, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year, and we underestimate what we can do in 10 years. It's interesting. For example, bodybuilding, it requires a significant amount of time. It is not something that you do over a year unless you're using steroids. And even then, I'm sure there are some challenges. some waves, some winds, some different things that come along the way. I must have said the magical word on my Instagram because it just kicked me off right after I said steroids. Maybe that was the magical word. We're shutting you down. You said steroids. It's probably just my internet or something acting goofy. Live streams have been a bit of a weird occasion, but anyway, a nice pause on my face too there. Anyway, long story short, as far as what was I going to say? As far as the bodybuilding goes, it requires a lot of time. And gaining enough muscle mass to really get big, if you will, to really have some hypertrophy and grow the muscles requires a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of good sleeping, a lot of serious and intentional workouts. It requires a lot of eating, if I didn't already say that, saying it twice, saying it three times, eating, 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 it's required. And so that requires setting goals, milestone goals, objectives, if you will, short term and long term, to continue that process, changing out the programming, those kinds of things, which falls into the game planning. That is not an easy feat. It is something that might be considered sexy or desirable in our culture for sure, but when it actually comes down to doing it, it is a grind, and it doesn't happen in a day. It surely doesn't happen in 6 months. And like I said, you can even grossly underestimate what you can get done in a year. Not to say you can't get some things done, but you can easily grossly underestimate a year. But you can, or excuse me, overestimate a year, but you can underestimate what you can get done in 10 years, Lord willing, for you to keep going that period of time. So set a goal that scares you. Set something that's really, it feels like it's out of your grasp, like you're going to have to use some serious faith for that goal to happen. I think it's very healthy to do that because exercising faith, the essence of things hoped for, the substance of things not seen, exercising faith is a beautiful thing. And man, does it grow us, man, does it stretch us, man, does it challenge us. And nothing like having something in your life that stretches, grows, and challenges you. Very beautiful. And I think that plays a lot into a lot of the different areas and things that I speak to you here on this channel on Project Fresh Live in the categories of fitness and finances, recreation and relationships, education in these areas, sanctity, that's soul and spiritual health, education, or excuse me, overall health being the H. I say that quite often because I want it to be known our vision is, as clear as possible. That's what we focus on. In fact, there's a goal that my wife and I have set where we are not going to spend any more money on a particular category until we have paid a certain amount of debt. And that is very hard for me because the thing that we were spending money on was fun. It has been fun. There are some things we want to do. It's a couple different things for us ultimately, but I know in this season and time, I keep getting this sense of, although it isn't fun, it's definitely not sexy. I keep getting this um, deeper feeling inside of it would be nice to take the easier route, but I know if we don't spend the time taking the discipline to address the debt and hit this goal and try, just say, oh, we set a goal, but we want to do this, like really stick to it. That hard work, that fighting against the hard winds and the high waves, and that analogy is going to pay off, and I think it's going to be a lot more rewarding than taking the easier way or taking the more desirable way. And so in that, again, that bigger goal is great. Now I think it's also very important to set some goals that are more manageable, that you can achieve within maybe the next 3, 6, or 12 months. I think that's very valuable. And then also game plan. With setting goals, it requires a good plan. What can I expect in the next month or 2 or 3, getting started for 2021? What is it that I would like to see happen in the environment and situation that's in front of me? uh, your spiritual life, your relationship life, your fitness and physicality, or overall health for that matter. What are some tangible goals? Maybe you need to do some research or some planning. Apparently, I have some kind of like sparkle in my eyebrow or something. I was like, is that me or is that the lights? Like, am I glowing? What's going on? Oh yeah, I was holding the glittery card earlier. That's what it is. Okay. Anyway, oh yes, something along the lines that you can really set it up nicely for yourself and become as aware as you need to, as knowledgeable as you need to. There's some other steps that we're going to be covering, like step two that we're going to get into tomorrow, talking about execution. In this game plan, make sure you have the best idea, possible as far as how you're going to execute in your goals and in the game plan. Because there's really no point in doing step number one if you aren't going to get into step number two. And execution is simply practice. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But a lot of times people are afraid to act because they're afraid that they're going to fail. And what's interesting is those who are successful are those who I've seen fail the most. I see a lot of successful people quote that often. I don't think there's one person who said it. It's more of a common theme. But it's nice to plan. It's nice to create the vision board, the goal board, create the beautiful picture. But if there is no application, there is no doing of or pursuing those goals and that game plan, then therefore there most likely isn't going to be any progress towards it. So if you guys want some more one-on-one engagement, or you want to see more of setting goals and game planning on our channel, drop a comment here today for this video. Let us know that you'd like us to talk more about that. Maybe add it to our list of topics to cover in our meetup, as far as doing webinars, teachings, trainings, if you will, or coaching around this, how to set reasonable goals, how to set a scary goal, as well as maybe two other goals. I think 2 to 3 goals is pretty reasonable in the context of a year. Again, that the goal that really stretches you, as well as, excuse me, 2 other goals that you can generally manage. And speaking of which, I wish I had my book, my planner with me here, because I would show you guys the power of it. Maybe we could do that separately. I have some tools where I can actually show you with a camera overhead some of the planning I've been doing this past year and the goals that I've been able to accomplish simply by writing them down, and then keeping track with them on a daily basis, keeping them in my mind. I think it's one of the most valuable things you can do with your goals is write them down, and then write them down daily. Today, here are my 2, 3 goals. Tomorrow, here's my 2, 3 goals. You just do that every single day for maybe a quarter, 13 weeks, and look at your goals, adjust accordingly. Maybe one of them you accomplished, maybe the other one you're getting there. And the third one, that stretch goal, is like maybe 10% of the way. You thought you'd be at, say, 25%. Maybe it's actually a 2 or 3 or 4 year, 5 year goal. So maybe you're only at like 3%. That's okay. You've progressed. You know what you need to do. And now it's time to take on the next 3 to 10% or whatever it might be. Some seasons, some quarters, some periods of time, you might get 1 or 2%. Other seasons, you might have quantum leaps and have 20% of your goal accomplished. But again, those long, stretch me, scary goals are valuable. So, and they're not going to necessarily happen overnight, right? Not even 6 months, maybe not even 12 months, not even 24, 36, or even 60 months. There are those things that just take that amount of time, energy, effort, growing maturity. It takes a lot. So anyway, I want to spend a little bit of extra time because I felt like I hadn't covered everything that I wanted to today. So we're getting a little bit over, but ultimately, I think setting some goals for 2021 is very valuable. And then ultimately game planning, and even if it's just one goal, that is totally cool. It doesn't have to be a million goals. I see a lot of people set 10 goals at the beginning of the year. Now that can be pretty stressful, trying to do a bunch of things at the same time. Even one goal can be quite a game changer in your lifestyle. So we'll get into that in more detail as far as goal setting in our webinar that we'll do at some point in time. And of course, we'll detail that more so in our video too that we're going to set up here on our page that we're promising you guys. But ultimately, that's it for today. We'll get into step 2 tomorrow, which is execution. The power of practice, which I think is going to be a great one to talk about because there's nothing like practice. And no, I'm not going to go Allen Iverson on you guys right now, but there is nothing like practice when it comes to pursuing your lifestyle goals and getting after it. Because that, at the end of the day, is all it is just daily discipline and practicing on getting better. And as you practice, eventually you're getting from not that great or terrible to better to sufficient. You know, you can get by to proficient. Now you're becoming pro to excellent. You know, and as you progress through that, getting better process, there's going to be opportunities along the way for you to practice, for you to execute, utilize those skills that you've learned. And eventually you're going to get to a point where they say 10,000 hours applied makes you a master at something. I don't know for sure. That's just what I've seen many masters or professionals, the higher up folks who have achieved, if you will, have gotten to a point where they've covered so much, they've learned so much, they've failed so much that they have such a broader knowledge, a broader understanding, a wisdom too, an applied knowledge and wisdom that they are able to just address so many different things in a certain context and just keep things going without thinking twice about it. That's ultimately what we all want to get to, right? So if it's something that you're passionate about, that you absolutely love, or maybe it's something that you're just really good at, maybe you're not passionate, but you're really good at, you could speak to it, you could do it without even thinking twice, whatever that might be. I'll encourage you guys to do that. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great evening. This is Ryan with Project Fresh with our live stream for today. Today is the 14th of December, 2020, and we're closely coming up on Christmas. So we've got maybe 7 more days together this year until we finish up. So we'll see you guys next time, tomorrow night, same time, 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I hope you have a great evening. Peace.